18th of February, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant, Andrew. What on earth just happened? Mr. Naruhodo, I managed to find out what happened. Mrs. Sato. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade. A type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like a sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will go start again before long. But who would have done something like that? Police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the court. Flee the court? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then, could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There were so many things I could ask him about, but he's not here. CQ was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to grant some questions, along with the young girl. Where is she? I wonder. What was she even doing here at the trial? She's talking about a huge risk. What possible benefit to himself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. Huh? Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence apiece. Comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there are in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. It is strange. Counsel for the defense, please kindly proceed into the court. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Thank you, officer. Go. Whoever she is, I imagine the young girl will be asked to take the stand to testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Mr. Sato. Yes! 18th of February, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey Court. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that razzle eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Sinks. My lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke, which filed proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, army? What did the devil say? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. Now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGill? I think perhaps ought to explain why it is that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt me. She's all tied up with the events of last night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGillard. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, because a loud and sudden a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There's a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up and couldn't see to cross to me. Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remained somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather on the night in question, the young girl was indeed riding on the omnibus. Is that correct? 'Tis exactly as the defendant my counsel said. The last was the 5th passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Rather, no idea where to start. Renzig's just like, get this travesty over with. And a question, I took the back seat and the omnibus promptly nodded.
Hold it!
When you first got in the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were, I see. Aye. That's why I took the back side as I did. Just the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by that, back seat? By all means. It's how you already described it earlier. Talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed is sitting. Like I said, it is the most comfortable and where I felt the most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from the time to time as well. But a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start.
Hold it!
Loud thud, you say? And a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? It's like the sound of someone falling to the ground. A sort of noise. So you think that was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed? Well now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me up and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fella on the floor. You didn't see anyone. At the same moment, did you hear a scream? From the seat above you at the roof deck, I presume? Not above me, no, my lord. Just from the inside of the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat.
Hold it!
You sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said, I could plainly see the poor devil was already hung. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? Just common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Lord Van Ziek, now why would that be? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail in the cabin. An upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I am subject of a special line of business. The business of lending money is an extortionate rate of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, it's not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. And so I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting that you're going to leave the man there? Heavens alive! No! I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only I had a mind to find out why and where's for first. What, the whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't you good self do the same? Yes, the screaming says he heard the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from. And bless my soul, what did I find?
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't want to say it. I'm sure you told the court there was no one else in the carriage except yourself when the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious! Under your backside? When I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole for the storage. She was in the cubbyhole under the seat? This would be a very good time to have a thorough look through it. I haven't seen the blood on the floor, but the last time I searched in here. It has a handle, it seems. Storage compartment. There's nothing in here. It's totally empty. So it doesn't seem right here. Can't let me figure out what it is. Is there one over here too? No. That's where I found her. There's a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself? Nice, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball when our eyes met. My heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overreacting. Still and all, I pulled her out from under there. Sat her on the seat opposite so I could retain with her. Seat opposite. That's right. Next to the dead gentleman. Is that the young girl next to the corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure mentioned, gentlemen in my position can all too often find themselves in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. But you say you didn't know who it was. While I was in the middle of talking with him, I heard another scream. A fella's voice this time. Oh, that? Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seat. Right you are, again. I would say so. Looking down through the skylight, must have seen this young girl and seen the gentleman with a knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witness did not in fact see you at all, Mr. McGill. What they believed to be yourself was and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Aye, my lord. As I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage after sight. This is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled over the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is this girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She is a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, revealing people of their purses. Also, she's a pickpocket. But commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here is a petty thief? Order! Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. How dare you? What is the meaning of this? The girl, she's gone. Open your eyes. I'm over here. Whoa, gracious, how? What was the point of that little sidestep? I know what not you're thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. Dirty little diapers, you'll say. Slipped up and got caught up on the gym. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the kid. Go! That's what you were, ain't it? Not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast it. Ah! Look, knives are kept for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need is for what I do is usefulness. I'm a professional, right? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess. You don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day down where they keep four-wheeled backpacks. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink vest. But do not wave that thing in my direction again. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on that night in question. It's alright, class. You can tell them the truth. Alright, yeah. Just like the Irishman said. The court accepts the girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. What the girl saw. So she's not in a carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. Got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in that hide place. Some pitch in there. Then after a while, I hear a loud bang. So it jumped out of my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. Because of that, it's well found. Yeah, well, got me. It did get away in mine. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let the secret urchin go, this little street urchin go, Miss McGillis. Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right atop the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called. This is where I sat that night. And the cubby hole, which she was smoking, is underneath the seat I was in. Oh, it was good. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course, the real ass was stuck in there. Because I parked myself on the seat for the duration. Ah. So you see, that's why I let the last bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if my young life was ruined, when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord. Not at all. Huh? I knew in my own heart I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of the less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. My lord. This is a fine example of a man that cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for doubting you, sir. Heck yeah! With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Oh yeah, we got all jurors for us. Let's go. Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury, consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty. Mr. Narhono, well, it must mean what? That we're victorious. I don't know. I don't think so. Are you sure?
Objection!
This is a sight to my iron-haired Wellington orphans. Pray do not forget to schedule. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in the British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotions rule the day. Hey, Matty. The witness's latest statements give us clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by the officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in that investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. No, it's not Edgeworth. It looks like him, but this is not Edgeworth. My lord! The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McKinley's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Order! Order! How could such a thing, such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, Constable? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiency of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment of the seat was not empty. Well, my nonsense friend. Me? When our carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail. as you suspected, partition of the floor. Pray, what did you find the condition under the seat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. Tell the court now, fella. How this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate of Lord Van Zeeks. Well, counsel, you have something to say on this matter. How am I supposed to answer? How can I say? What can I say about the state of the compartment under the seat in the office? To be honest, when we first got it, I didn't look. Sorry, I'm a failure. I didn't look. Why didn't I examine the omnibus more thoroughly? Perhaps I credited you with too much intelligence. It seems, my lord, that the Eastern intimate is as unreliable as a wine from the best. Sir Naruhodo. Well now, it seems this argument is moot. And the truth of the matter is we all see you after all. The cubby hole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh on it. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smoothly running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that the omnibus should properly and fully equipped at all times. So certainly would not have been empty on the night in question. Bubble isn't that irresponsible. That money that you flees, sir, and the picked purse are liars. Dang it! Can't believe it was nearly taken in. Stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards. What? Oh no. It is a trick. Of course it is a trick. Quite so. I must concur here. Did I mess up? It's calm, calculated reasoning. One arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time could be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there's a matter of an outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, beg your questioning of the witness, please. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Carriage before they...
Hold it!
So you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. What's the point in spending it showy to make a few bob, eh? That's the rum's idea, ain't it? Suppose you meant there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that the girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Just clear up the little mystery with all the farces. For paying past, I set 5 pence apiece, making it 20, to which the cabinet tested. One little scabinage riding for free. Red conch of a driver always goes on some rub before the last run scene. That's when I slipped into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment, full of equipment for the coach, no? Yeah, there's brushes and baskets and whatnot in there for sure. I always chuck it all out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. She throws it all out. She's like, nope, in my way, get out of here, goodbye. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of stuff, but of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we reached a conclusion of that line of inquiry. Continue. It was a waste of time. I got nothing to show for my trouble that night.
Hold it!
Waste time. Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on me own. The God permit at least some of the time. Beg your pardon. Did you say God permit? Oh yeah, that's what I call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run of the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place to get away. That's it. Only that night. This cove was set on me, seen from the start. Didn't budge the whole way. Not 1 inch. Was totally stuck. You don't mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration. You were under the seat the entire time whilst the events unfolded in the closed cabin. Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure, yes, to be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift a cushion and sat on to find a child under you. Such it couldn't possibly be the culprit. So yeah, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. Pitch it.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Not a shot. Those days I pushed a crap with me head and look out the crack. I got butchers that were gonna fiddle. Thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, get out and look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other ones that I see. But for some reason, that night, this Irishman spent the whole journey right over me. For that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out of the seat. Truth is, I'm too happy in small, dark places. Feels too much like being thrown into a clink. That's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's an obvious choice. Why does she just stick to picking people's pockets and open? If there is some reason she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick out under there. Nothing else for it. Then, after a while, I heard a loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin. And screamed.
Hold it!
There was a loud bang. You noise or someone falling on the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. You let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. The concussion. Oh, normally just get lighter all of a sudden. Presume when a different got opened in order to help the victim. Or not. Could equally have been the moment the accused stood up in order to stab his victim. Couldn't know it. Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. Pushed up the cushion, I had a quick butchers while I had a chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting at the plug who had fallen on the floor of his opposite seat. The mattress was the guild's account. But then the fellow suddenly turns around and looks at me. Sunk back down, it was too late by then. Should have never have risked looking. Because of that, the swell found me. He did help me get away in mine. Out. Didn't press it. Just finds goes a piece of evidence. Yeah, let me press that new last statement.
Hold it!
Wizard McGilden discovered you. He pulled you out from the hiding place. I was scared stiff. I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on a seat. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason? Yeah. Look had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. The carriage lurked a bit, ended up falling on. And he ended up falling. Toppled over on her own. How awful. Both me and Anne's got covered in blood. It was her hands that got covered. Both her hands got covered in blood. Must have been what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked to Mr. McGilden for a while. Is that correct? He asked me for some stuff. Wanted to know my name, what I was up to that. And I earned something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. Frost was on the roof deck. Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. The other one's drawn up smartish in his air, Irishman says to me. Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later. Okay, I've pressed on everything. Before they... did press everything, right?
Hold it! Well, no.
Oh. Okay, here we go. So... Okay, so I guess it must have had something to do with, like, me pressing something before, and then, like, you go back to the...
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. McGilden? Oh? I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? Just wondering if Miss Lester's last comment made you something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself towards a young lady like that, shut up in the dark. I was terrified. It was so sad. I see. Yes, I'm sure. Sure, we can often. I'm still scared of the dark now. I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you seem much better. Yeah. I suppose it does. Maybe. Miss Lestrade. Do you hear something that night? Anything an unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Keep it! There's no need to tell the whole world before neighbors, young sir. Everybody is sus in this game, Lance. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a final new clue. Yes. Should we make it that late? Is it that important? My lord. I believe that last statement just made by the witness. Profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is a profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Corso. Nevertheless, Miss Nina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating the last statement, please. What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all that fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on. All I could hear was snoring.
Hold it!
So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hit yourself. Not exactly, no. Sorry. Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. Just push it kind of up. Have a butcher's to see what was not. Then, when I saw this swell get on me, didn't go down and didn't notice me. Mr. McGill sat on the seat, under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah! And would you add an even? What bug? So then all I could do was listen. Just waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave. Even though we stopped it, never heard the door open. Just had to put a listen in. I'm driving his pigs to market. shorn like an old dog was. Yeah, it doesn't add up. Because if she was listening for him to leave, like, she would have heard the victim get in. Miss Lestrade, what you've just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my lean and incompetent friend is not a dual relatives with fear. So Van Six realized it too. Counsel. Must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or the complicitory party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate the alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus last night. No, she's claimed to have heard him snore, but what she didn't say is she didn't hear anybody enter or leave the cabin, which is impossible. How did the victim get in if she didn't hear it? That's what's tricky here. Is because if she was there, if she didn't hear anything other than him snoring, how did the victim get in the omnibus? Something else she should have heard. Very well, mother. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. Sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Take that!
Thrice fried Mason? Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is the sound of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Order! Order! Explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person to board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. Got him whilst I was driving it. The pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGill. That was it. That it was. But the soul was on the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So you were all to intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at the time. Did I not just say that much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And, from what we just heard, the carriage made a number of stops that on its onward journey. During which time, you did not hear the door opening and closing at all? Nah, never heard it. It's exactly what I listened for, weren't it? Waiting for Swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up on the carriage? Ugh. We know that the victim collapsed in the enclosed cabin in the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Yes, this Petit C statement was very clearly flawed. Lord Van Zieks. Yes, he knew. He knew all too well. There was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statements. It would seem that words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Words are convenient untruths, nothing more. What? No! Old hag, no! She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge her dearly, but just because she has some rather naughty ways. No, that's not possible because they both would have noticed him. Mr. Mason would have been noticed by both of them. I must say. Can't abide liars. Nor, and neither can I. Mr. Foreman, didn't want to judge that girl, just because she has some less than subordinate ways. But I must say, cannot abide liars. Okay, here, I have a problem with this here. They're doing this because she is incorrect about stuff. How does that prove guilt here? How does that prove our client's guilty here? Like, I don't understand. You're not heard of this 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing when you come on straight. So the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing. Yeah. What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who's working here? You useless Eastern Abaddon. This is carnage. Perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left. The way it's going is, I know. But Simon's a new way to convince everyone of Mr. Gill's innocence. The judge will rule. We flaws. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But both of us in the service know we must accept the truth.
Hold it!
Hold on, Missy. Please wait. Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we were to consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, may shed light in an entirely new light on this whole case. Huh? What are you saying? Consul. I'm sorry, sir? What do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate attempting to prolong my objection. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's malicious appearance in the cabin of the omnibus? I keep forgetting to add the tone sometimes. Do forgive me. The tone is very important to the story at hand. Very, very important. There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. Cause that looks like a handle right there. There's another way. There could have come in through the ceiling. The thud. Mr. Mason was riding on the top. Mr. Mason was riding on the top. They dropped the body down through the hole. It woke him up. He saw the body later. He stands up, picks it up, puts it on the seat. Oh my gosh. That's gotta be it. That makes the most sense to me. Murder didn't happen inside. It happened up here. The door wasn't open even once. The only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I'd wonder what new fantasy you'd come up with in your apparent panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for us to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with the door. The other side has only windows. Fixed windows, which cannot possibly open. There is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
No, there's not. There's one more. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes. One other way inside isn't that door. Another opening, to use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Huh? Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location of the court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is his entrance by which you proceed the victim to the cabin? Right here. Because that window is obviously openable. Like, you can slide that open. So that's the only other way they could have come in.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only be from the skylight. I say, the skylight.
Objection!
You ludicrously propose almost has me at lost for words. However,
Objection!
skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. But do you have a thread of evidence to support your out-of-brain theory? Both Miss McGill and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimony. They each have heard a loud thud, such noise made by someone falling on the floor. Yes, by which had already been explained. As the sound is the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with his dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses described? A loud noise enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Good gracious. Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment when the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You are now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen into the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. They lied. And yet, not one person made a mention of such events in their testimony because they're covering up their crime. Well, yes, that's true. Hold it. Might the humble fellow make a wee comment here? Huh? Mr. McGildy? To be sure now, the two fellows who sat on the roof that testified before said nothing about the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, Lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having some compelling reason to not mention what happened. Wouldn't you agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness. My goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof? You mean the ones who stuck the knife in the man were... Hold. They're back. Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blessner? You router. He said you router. What are you insinuating? This is flaming outrage. I've got a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. He'll give you a shiner in a minute. He said he will, and I will. But Mr. Fairplay, you effectively accuse me, a city gentleman and a well-respected banker, and me, a very angry hatter, suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed the man in the gut. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's... I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right. I protest too. And you rotten scoundrel. Order! 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 This is not the time, witnesses. Will not permit the invasion of the stand. Return to your anteroom at once. But this is beyond my lord. It is outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Mr. Lord Vance. It was the defense that initiated this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? And never intended to. It seems, young Nippon says, that your command of the English tongue is waned. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck in the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In a British court of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know it was rash with the idea of forwarding actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss that without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify. Thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on it. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. If there's filth and rubbish in the midst, we must dispose of it at once. Testify! 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 Especially the Poe Gallery. They're all completely friendly. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. Forrest. My lord. You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony. In reference to the incident brought by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward.